Hi, I'm Drew YoungeDyke, editor of Michigan Out of Doors magazine, and today we're just going to go through a real quick preview of the Tenzing TZ3000 hunting backpack. We were lucky enough to get this to try out, so I'll be taking this out into the Pigeon River country in northern Michigan in a couple days on a multi-day backpack bow hunt to start the archery season. So first of all, I really wanted to go over some of the things that jumped out to me right out of the box about the Tenzing TZ3000. Obviously I got it in my favorite camo, Cryptic Highlander, but the first thing is this material. This material is very, very soft. It means when twigs and brushes against it, it's not going to be really loud. You have these accent panels that are in this Dyneema, super strong, super lightweight material. That's a little bit louder, but I like that they covered the rest of it in this really soft material here. Second, zipper pulls. Nice and big, so if it's cold out, you have gloves on, you can pull those. So that's some kind of basic stuff, but what I really liked about the TZ3000 is the size of the pack. I've had other packs before that were great, that had a lot of cubic inches that were great for packing all your gear into the backcountry, but when you wanted to switch and then use it as a day pack while you were out hunting, it had a lot of trouble compressing down into a manageable size where it wasn't kind of bulky and hanging off and brushing against everything. This TZ3000 size, it looks like it's going to have that expandable capability to carry the load in, perhaps carry a quarter out, and I'll show you that in a minute, but also small enough that it can compress. And the way that it compresses is, first of all, here's where it can be fully loaded. You can fill this whole thing with gear, but with these straps on all sides of it, you can really tighten those down on both sides, and this middle one here as well. And you can see that that compresses down to quite a manageable day pack size. This could also make a really nice pack, even if you're not doing an overnight backpacking type trip. Just if you want to carry a lot of gear, whether it's an extra coat, an extra sweatshirt, extra layers, you know, all your gear to your tree stand or to your hunting blind, even if you're just out for the day. And as I mentioned, it expands right back out. So that's the first thing that I noticed. The next thing is this nice little gun or bow carrier. This folds down here, straps in here, and what I like about this carrier is that it has an open pouch here. So on other ones that I've had, it closed right here, which meant that it could fit the butt of a gun really well, but it didn't fit the larger cams that most of today's bows have now very well. With this opening here, you can fit the whole cam in here, strap it over here, and lock that in real tight, compress it real tight up against the bow so it's not flopping around. That seems like a real great improvement there. All the Tenzings have these daisy chains here for strapping extra gear to, but I'd rather not strap extra gear to the outside of a hunting pack that might get strapped on something. So that's why I like all of these internal pockets that it has here. That means that when you fill this pack up, you can keep it in compressed, you can keep it against the side, keep it where it's not going to be rattling around. That also means you can keep it up tight here where it's not going to be rattling around, all falling to the bottom of the pack, which is what happens when your pack isn't full, for instance, after you've unloaded it at your camp and you're out for your hunt. It's a top loader, which means it loads up in here. There's this top pocket here for kind of your quick access gear. And then it loads right here. You unhook these, and you can see that you have a lot of room here. So up here you have a water bladder, in here are the stays. You have internal zipper pockets here for these side pockets, and just a lot of room. The other great thing about this pack is let's say you need to carry something bulky, like for instance a hind quarter of a deer. or if you're lucky enough to get a bear or an elk when you want to quarter those out. You can close this part way. Lock in these top straps. You see that you have a lot of room in there to carry something that can stick out above here. So that's some of the things that jumped out to me of what I really like about looking at the pack right away. Nice vented, comfortable backpack pad here. You see you have a loop for your hydration bladder. Pockets, these are loose. Another thing that I really liked is these little straps here on all the straps. There's these little compression straps that keep these out of the way so they're not dangling down all around you. So those are my first impressions of the TZ3000 pack. We'll put it to the test this weekend coming up in the Pigeon River country. And again in a couple weeks up in the Porcupine Mountains on a 4-day bear hunt with some of my buddies from backcountry hunters and anglers. And that's really gonna put it to the test. Until then though, those are some things that I really like about this pack. All right, so now we're gonna go over what I load in my pack for a multi-day backpacking trip. So for any of you looking to do something like this for the first time, I go with a really basic kind of kit. I try to keep it light, try to go with just a minimal amount of gear that I need. If you're going on the first time, you may want to bring back up extra stuff. As you go through the process of backpacking a few times, you're going to learn what you can get rid of, what you're going to use on a regular basis, and those items that you load all the time but never use, unless it's kind of the emergency backup type of stuff, you can learn that you can leave those out of your kit. I've been doing backpack bow hunting and backpack hunting and just backpacking in general for a lot of years, so I've kind of narrowed down my kit to those items that I know that I'm going to want to use, and I'm trying out some new gear here too, so I'll go through that. The first one that we want to go through is my sleeping system. So with my sleeping system, I'm using an SJK satellite tarp, encrypted camo. It's really lightweight. I'm using a hammock rather than a sleeping pad or a tent. So I've got the Grand Trunk hammock with the tree straps, and you can see that between the tarp and the hammock and the straps, this replaces my sleeping pad and a full tent, so you can see that it packs down pretty light. I'm going to go over here real quick to my sleeping bag. My sleeping bag is a North Face Aleutian. It's rated to 20 degrees, really comfortable in this early season that we have here. Like it is in early October. I've had this for about 10 years, so I know that this piece of gear works. I'm gonna load this first, and I load it loose so that other stuff can pack in around it so it's not rattling around. I like to load the sleeping bag at the bottom of the pack because it's very lightweight, but it provides some bulk and some space to keep the heavier gear up kind of toward the middle against the bottom of my bag. You can see that in there like that. Next, I'm going to go with my water bladder. This will be filled, of course, when I load it for real. And you can see on this Tenzing TZ3000 Pack 2 the port here for your hydration bladder. So that will come out there, loop around, and clip in right where you can use it. Next, I'm going to go with some of my heavier gear that I'm not going to use until I get to camp. That I'm not going to need quick access to. So that includes my food, some Mountain House meals, got some campfire meals that I'll be trying out for the first time. You got my pot that includes my gas canister and some cooking utensils, as well as a few extra lighters. We got my books, Louis L'Amour, Last of the Breed goes on everyone with me, and you can't go wrong with riding for the brand. If you haven't noticed, that's what I like to do with MUCC and Michigan Out of Doors. We like to ride for the brand. I also keep my archery kit in here. This is stuff that hopefully I won't need, but as a backup, I want to make sure that I can repair my gear in the field, because the last thing I want to do is be out in the field, have something go wrong on my bow and not be able to fix it. This also includes a spare release too, so if something goes wrong with my release, I have an extra one ready to go. Little mountain ops, Yeti, get you going in the morning. With some gear, I'll bring two. So for instance, I have my headlamp, fairly good, well-charged batteries, but I like to have a spare on that, especially when I'm going to be gone for 3 or 4 days. This one I picked up, I haven't even used it yet, but it also has spare batteries in it. So that'll go in here where I don't need to access it quickly. Including my broadhead sharpener that I'll be using later. So you can see how that's shaping up there. This will go with the camp. Picked up these new bite spikes at the Great Lakes, Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Riders. They're from a company called Fallout Products in Michigan. They can be used as tent stakes. I'll use them to loop down my tarp. The great thing about these is that you don't actually need to tie off your paracord. So for instance, when I loop down my paracord on here, these spikes kind of grip into it and hold it real tight like that. Wrap them around a few times, it means that it's a little bit quicker as far as wrapping it around. You don't have to untie little knots with my non-dexterous fingers aren't very good at doing. I'm going to put these in this little stuff sack here just so they're not clanging around with each other. Extra paracord, extra paracord. Never have too much of that. Medical kit, toothbrush. All right. That all seems to fit in there fine. You can probably fit a little bit more in here too. When I'm backpacking, I always like to bring these lightweight knee pads. They just allow you to get around camp real easy if you need to, you're setting up camp, you're setting up your tarp, it's nasty, it keeps your knees dry, keeps your pants dry too when you're getting around. This top pack here, I'll keep my rain pack, as well as this backcountry charging unit. This is from Enerplex. This is a solar charging unit. You see that folds out to collect the sunlight. Plugs into this solar charging unit here, and that will keep my Samsung charged for quite a while. So that will go right in here. We'll sandwich that in with my orange hat. I'll use that orange hat for sleeping, but also if I want to take a shot at a squirrel with my bow, you have to wear hunter orange, so I can put that on real quick, and that's in my quick access pack there. Tell you what, this thing fits better in here, doesn't it? That kind of fits in there perfectly. Rain pack. Game bags. I'll put the light inside here. This is really nice. It opens it up to the main compartment, so I can still stuff more stuff in the main compartment there if I need to, like an extra rag, an extra strap. In case you forget anything. Hand sanitizer. That all just went back into the main compartment there. I just like to keep the toilet paper out and separate. Never go into the backcountry without toilet paper. So now on this top pack, with that, my quick access headlamp. That's not going to fit there. And in my front pockets here, I'm going to keep a spare compass, and my release. So that's ready to go when I need it. Tenzing TZ3000 pack. Now that that's ready to go, I'm going to show you real quick how the bow carrier works. The cam just straps in like this. See that opening there allows it the room to get around there. This little buckle just loops around here and secures that in place. So that's not going anywhere. Get it where you want it. Use this strap here. It's fairly expandable. To lock it in. Now my pack ready to go with my bow. These are my pants, so they're not going in there. Those are going on me. Got my Vortex binoculars that help with spot and stalk and still hunting. Those will go around my neck in a chest harness. So there it is, Tenzing TZ3000 pack, loaded up, ready to go for a 4-day backcountry bow hunt. We'll also compress down small enough to bring what I need with it on the day of the hunt.